Welcome to Mr. Biz Radio, biz talk for biz owners. If you're ready to stop faking the funk and take your business onward and upward, this show is for you. And now, here's Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth.
All right, welcome to another episode of Mr. Biz Radio with me, Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth. And we're going to talk about a topic this week that I think everyone's going to love. I know you're going to love it because, the predominance of our audience are entrepreneurs, business owners. We got a couple, as I say, entrepreneurs in there that are kind of thinking about it, haven't quite taken a leap yet, but nonetheless listen to the show or watch the show for edification, for information, to maybe gather some of that stuff to take that leap. And this show today is going to be right along the lines with any people that fall into that bucket. And we're going to talk about creating an amazing lead gen engine. And that's primarily what we're going to talk about really in the next couple of segments here. And we've got an absolute master. Our guest this week is Mr. Ben Arritt. He has 20 plus years of complete P&L accountability, building businesses to record profits. He founded a global 10-year event and brand marketing agency that averaged 138% year-over-year profit growth. His latest project is providing fractional CMOs and CFOs to lower middle market businesses looking to scale. And Ben, welcome to Mr. Biz Radio.
Thanks for having me on, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I got to tell you, like I always say this, we typically, we've got such a we've got a decent lead time on shows, but we happen to have someone who postponed and had to reschedule out. And I just met Ben a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, man, I got to get you on the show. This would be awesome. And I happen to have a slot. Let's do this. And Ben was accommodated the schedule, and it all worked out. But so Ben, we always like to start with talking about your sort of your entrepreneurial journey, because everyone's got something that really resonates. And I love hearing the stories and the inspiration that I get from a lot of the guests that talk about, some of the things they've gone through.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think you talk to any small business owner, they have horror stories, and I definitely do. So for about 10 years, I owned a global event marketing and branding agency, as you mentioned. We produced projects everywhere from Singapore to Cannes, France, for billion-dollar companies. I managed an average of about 100 to 140 people a project. We garnered some coverage in the Wall Street Journal for one of my clients. I made what I felt was just really disgusting amounts of money, just crazy amounts of money.
Disgusting is in the eye of the beholder. Okay?
That's right. That's exactly compared to what I was making before. And I was pretty successful before that. But, I tell you, man, success came at a price. I know what it means to sleep every other day. I know what it means to be taken to the hospital for dehydration with muscle cramps so bad it literally tore muscle tissue. I have lived a horror show of a life to make that kind of money. I also have a background in startups. I've been through some accelerators. I lived in Austin, Texas for a while, went to Capital Factory. Unfortunately, came rolling into the office the first week of March 2020, thinking I was going to rapidly network with people. That was a very bad time to try and rapidly network with anyone.
Right.
That place turned into a ghost town of buzzing fluorescent lights and concrete floors really rapidly. But
I'm surprised they even let you in the building.
Yeah, right. I mean, I got there, literally I got there right before it all shut down. So it was buzzing, and then it just went from buzzing to dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a crazy time. Everybody is, asked me the years I was there, oh, how'd you like Austin? I don't know. I'll tell you if I ever see it, because living in house arrest for 2 years.
Yeah.
So at any rate, given what I've been through, I mean, I know what it feels like to work crazy hours in a way that your family and your friends just cannot rationally understand to keep your baby alive, and when you've been through that, your heart is kind of with other business owners, right? And you're trying to get your website set up, or you're trying to set up an inbound lead engine. You're trying to get things off the ground. And it just feels like everything's designed for massive enterprises. And it just feels like you're trying to take a jet engine, a jet airplane to the grocery store, Holy cow, is it that complicated? I just want to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And so at any rate, with all that in mind, I created a website called grocketship.com. And the first thing I did is I started to curate the business books I've read, the mentor sessions I've been to, the workshops I've been to for startups, startup school from Y Combinator, the things that I've learned, and curate that information for free for people, so that kind of in a do-it-yourself sort of way, they could learn and not go through what I went through to learn a lot of those things. And then from there, the other thing I was thinking, if we could match fractional CMOs with lower middle market small businesses that want to scale, if you could hire someone who could give you the cheat sheet, the growth hack notes, tell you where all the rocks are in the river. They know all the customer acquisition channels in your market niche, and they've already scaled 3 companies that are exactly the same size in your industry vertical. Holy cow, hire them. I mean, go from 10 million to 100 million, and you can do that. And pay somebody for 4 months of fractional CMO time. Wow, that's a no-brainer. So we launched that, and the response has been insane. I mean, in 6 weeks' time, we got the ex-CMOs and VPs of marketing from Walt Disney, PayPal, Hootsuite, Salesforce, Zipcar, eHarmony, Uber Eats, PepsiCo, NBC Universal, the list goes on and on. And about 3 weeks ago, I launched a service for fractional CFOs, and that's taken off. So we got 63 CMOs on the roster that are world class. And I think recently I checked, I think it was yesterday, I'm at just shy of 40 CFOs. So we're putting together an incredible team, and hopefully we'll help businesses with scaling rapidly. That's our goal.
Yeah, and it's so important, Ben. You mentioned this. I mean, I think a lot of times what I've seen is business owners, especially when you're bootstrapping and you're a startup and you're trying to bootstrap and you're trying to figure out the marketing stuff on your own. And I understand that, right? I'm a CFO guy myself, and so I understand being frugal. But man, spending money in the right way, instead of it taking you doing YouTube videos or someone on your team doing YouTube videos, or you've got someone who's an intern who's got some, taken some marketing classes and maybe fooled around a little bit here or there, or you just hit the absolute easy button and accelerator, like you hit the accelerator on the Tesla, right? Yeah. To just take off by having someone who's been there, done that. It's got 10, 15, 20 years of experience with these massive brands that they say, you know what, that's not going to work. And here's that thing you mentioned. Yeah, that was 6 months ago. That doesn't work anymore.
Right. I've done this 3 times. Today. Here's why you don't want to do that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not on the marketing side as well. And I tell people this with marketing, especially because it's so easy to look at it and say, oh man, I'm running, I don't know, filling in the blank. I'm running some Facebook ads and I'm getting an ROI of, 37%. I'm like, first of all, it took you 3 times as long as someone who does it every day. Second of all, that 37% or whatever the heck you're earning, the person who lives and breathes this every day can probably 10x that at least. So you're all proud and pounding your chest about your 37%, and the experts going, I'd cancel that ad campaign. Right. I wouldn't even run something that was only getting 37%. It's crazy. Well, we got to hit a break here, Ben. I want to come back and talk a little bit about the formation. I guess we've talked a little bit about Grocketship, but I really want to get into lead gen stuff, building that lead gen engine.
If you would like to reach hundreds of thousands of business owners every week, Mr. Biz Radio can help. Our show airs globally 7 days a week for more than 25 hours across several internet radio stations, plus 20 plus podcast platforms. Also, video exposure on the new exclusive Mr. Biz Network streaming channel, which gets blasted to 100 plus streaming platforms, and the Mr. Biz YouTube channel, and our 350,000 social media followers multiple times every week. Join Mr. Biz Nation as an advertiser by emailing us at info@MrBizSolutions.com.
Attention, Mr. Biz Nation. We have an exclusive offer just for you. Get lifetime access to scarcity countdown timers and logic links for only $69. Yes, you heard it right. Only $69. These tools will add urgency to your email campaigns and website pages, helping you increase conversions, sales, and capture more leads. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Visit getpulsetools.com now and take your business to new heights.
Got a question for Mr. Biz you want answered on air? Email it to info@MrBizSolutions.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's time for Mr. Biz tip of the week, and this week's tip is a financial tip. And this one sounds so obvious, but unfortunately, I see it in almost every business I've ever worked with since I've left the corporate world several years ago. One of the quickest ways to financial problems is holding on to unprofitable customers. Now you say, well, thanks for that one, genius, right? I couldn't have figured that one out. But here's the problem. Most businesses don't realize they have them. I call it the silent business killer. You got to find the silent business killer and eliminate them. There are products or services that you're offering that are at best break even, but oftentimes what I find, and again, almost every single business I've worked with has this, they're actually losing money on that particular product or service. And so in that example, it sounds completely counterintuitive. Your sales are going up, revenue is going through the roof, but every one of those sales is actually costing you money. So your sales are going up and your net income's dropping. And you're like, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You got the silent business killer lurking in your business if that's the case. You got to find them and eliminate them. So that's the Mr. Biz tip of the week this week. Talking again, Arritt. Sorry, almost messed that up. I asked you before the show, and I still messed it up. But
no worries. I like your business tips, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Grocketship.com, and actually Ben created a special link for people who watch and listen to the show, and we'll put it in the show notes as well. Grocketship.com/Mr. Biz, and also follow Ben Grocketship on Twitter. But we talked a little bit about Grocketship, what the formation, why you started it, what the different things you're doing there. But I know you wanted to really talk, and I really wanted to have you talk about creating an amazing lead gen engine. And I know you have a lot of stuff to share on that. So usually we only talk, well, not only, but we usually, save the tips for the last one. But I know you got a lot of stuff to cover. So if you don't mind, let's just dive into it.
Let's roll, man. Okay. So first of all, as you said, Grocketship, GROKKET ship.com/Mr. Biz with no dot after the Mr. is the exclusive link for Mr. Biz listeners, where we will go over this stuff. Get ready. It's going to be like drinking water from a fire hose. So the first thing to know is that if you are B2B, probably the number one place to go to begin sourcing leads, and the easiest place is going to be to go to LinkedIn. And that's not the only place you can go, but for B2B, I think that's probably the number one place, and almost everybody has LinkedIn access, even if they have the free version. So the first thing is that most of the apps that are out there that allow you to acquire leads and a person's contact information, scrapers, as they're called, are against LinkedIn's terms of service. That doesn't mean they're illegal. That just means that LinkedIn doesn't like it. So predictably, all the different companies that do this are on LinkedIn. Their CEOs are on LinkedIn. Their employees are on LinkedIn. They even say what they do on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn doesn't have a problem with them saying, yeah, we scrape stuff off of LinkedIn, which is against their terms of service. So how does that happen? And I think the bottom line is it's kind of like, speeding on the interstate. If you're 5 over, you're probably going to be all right.
Right.
So if you're a small business owner and you're using this and you stay within the limits that are recommended by these applications. And by the way, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people log in every day and use these tools to acquire potential leads and the contact information of those leads. So it's not like this is a small secret industry, okay?
Right.
But all these different apps publish limits, and they say, hey, don't go over X number a day. You don't respect those limits, you're going to get one warning from LinkedIn, and after that, they're going to ban you permanently, and you are done. You don't want to go there. So all that to say, respect the limits, don't go crazy, and you're going to be okay. But if you don't, and you get busted, you're going to be in big trouble very quickly. The second thing I wanted to mention is that once you acquire someone's contact information, and say you set up some cold email sequences to send to them, you want to comply with the CAN-SPAM Act. You can Google it. I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do, but a couple tips might be that you need to include your address, your physical address, and you have to include an unsubscribed link, okay? I would recommend that you tread lightly. You don't spam people half to death. You highly qualify who you target. You customize it to them as much as you can. And you might send them a couple of emails and then back off. Like, don't send them anything else. Either they're interested or they're not, man. Don't sit there and bang on somebody. Give some, let people know you're out there, but then that's it. You don't, abuse these tools or you're going to be in trouble. The last thing I'll mention, and hopefully your guy can find a way for me to share screen. Relationships are what's most important. If you're trying to grow your business, and everybody knows this, I would say start looking into networking associations locally where you are. There's some big ones. I just did an article for the Private Directors Association, which is for corporate board members, about cross-pollination of executive networking associations. In the Atlanta area, Kettering is really big, but say they're not really big nationally. So you want to look at some of the national ones. You could look at Vistage. You might want to look at NACD. That's for public board members. But there's a lot of executive and CEO level networking associations you want to check into, which will allow you to make the connections you need, whether it's for private equity or whoever it is you're trying to. ACG is a huge one for middle market private equity. So that's another one I'd recommend. So this is like the spices on the hot dog. What I'm showing you here isn't the hot dog. Relationships are the meat, okay? But the hot dog tastes a little better, and we're going to try to expand the surface area of luck with some of these tools. All right, can your editor let me share screen here?
Yeah,
gentlemen, I'm working on it right now. It's for whatever reason, it's not letting me do it. So I apologize. I'm still working on it. So I'm so sorry.
Okay, no sweat. I want to keep on talking here, and if by the second session we can do some screen shares, that'd be great. So the first thing is you go to LinkedIn, you run a search, and you filter who you're trying to target by industry. And if you do a Google, you're going to find that there's 148 different industries. That's totally wrong. The truth of the matter is that they don't tell you is there's 520, but they don't tell you that. Okay. They only tell you that when you search underneath recruiter. So if you go to recruiter help, LinkedIn recruiter /help, you find out that there's classifications and subclassifications. So if you pick construction, you get 30 different subclassifications automatically. You don't know that. There's 3 tiers. If you pick a tier 2, you get you see what I'm saying? It's bracketed. You get everything that's underneath it. So unless you go looking at the chart that's in the LinkedIn recruiter access, you don't really know what you're selecting when you select that. And why is it this has 10 people and this other one has 27 million? Well, it's because you can't see the tiering, and that's why you need to go look up that chart, and that's going to help you a lot. Use your filters correctly when you're trying to target people. The next thing is, once you've run your filters, you got a nice looking list, and you're like, yeah, those are people I want. The 2 that I would recommend taking a look at are SalesQL, literally salesql.com, to pull the information. And the other one I'd say take a look at is apollo.io. To give you a quick overview, you've got research tools like LinkedIn, Grata, and Syndex, and Apollo to research who to target. Then you've got the contact information acquisition tools like SalesQL, GrowMe Organic, Lucia, and Apollo. GrowMe Organic is the only one I know that you can scrape leads out of LinkedIn all day and never get busted. The only problem is it's glitchy, it dies, it locks up, you have to start over. But if you're patient, and it's slow, it is really slow. Like you just got to run it in the background all day.
Oh, but really? Okay. It'll
allow you to scrape leads all freaking day, thousands of people all day. It's the only one that can do it like that. SalesQL is super accurate. It also goes three emails deep. Phone numbers are trash. Don't even bother. Okay. But if you want like 3 emails you can use to contact someone, like from their Gmail account to business, it'll do it. Lucia is the best for phone numbers. I've talked to a lot of people who do this for a living. Lucia is number 1 for getting phone numbers. Apollo is a good middle ground. It only gives you business information, but it does give you some phone numbers, and some of them are actually fairly accurate. From there, you need to verify all the information you've scraped. There's Zero Bounce, there's Reune. I've done ABs between all the different ones. You need to use zero bounds. After you verify, you're going to lose 50% of them. So then you take the second group of emails you've scraped and you verify those, and that'll get you like another 15%. And then you take the third group of emails and you verify. So instead of losing half your contacts, you have to verify each email column independently to build up the list. Otherwise, you're going to lose half your contacts when you go through the verification process. Then you need to think about deliverability. If you're using something like Lemlist or Apollo, you're directly emailing out of your Gmail or your Office 365 account. If you use something like Mailgun, Mailjet, or SendGrid, it's creating a separate SMTP server, which allows you to create higher amounts of volume. We're talking about you do 6,000 emails a day out of one email once you warm it up to that. But you can't start there. You got to start with about 25 emails a day, which brings up another point. For best practices, you need to use a separate domain for emailing.
All right, we're going to hit a break here. Ben's got a lot of stuff to share. We're going to, excuse me, we're going to dive right back into this. I know from when Ben and I talked earlier, he's got a lot more stuff to share here. Hopefully we can get the screen share going. If not, we can work around that. But come back after the break on Mr. Biz Radio.
Check out all 3 of Mr. Biz's best-selling books at MrBizBooks.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show. But Ben, if you would, just pick up where you left off there, talking about going through, zero bounce and getting, kind of cleaning out the list and things like that.
Absolutely. And you guys have the screen up here now, so I'll show you. We're running a search here. I'm going to type in CEO and LinkedIn. And we're going to pretend as though we've run all the filters that we need to run, okay? And we've gone through the industry list, and we understand that better now, that there's actually 520 of them to filter through. And we look at this and think that's what we want. I'm going to click this button up here for SalesQL, and you can see that these people come up on the list. And if I click this start button here, I can extract out of it. It'll say the next 40 pages, which will give me 400 contacts. And what I'm doing is I'm essentially stealing out of LinkedIn all of their contact information with a click of a button. I'm not going to click continue because I don't want that information in my SalesQL account. But if I did click that button, it would dump it into SalesQL. And when I do that, here's what it looks like. You can see all these folders are different scrapes that I've done. Look, there's all their information. Now I have removed their info from SalesQL. I can click export, put that into a CSV, and then import that CSV into a program like Lemlist, like this one right here. And all I have to do when I have a sequence like this is import the leads. So these are just different sequences that I've got. And you can see here, I can do email 1, 2, 3, 4. I can include invites on LinkedIn. I can visit their LinkedIn page. I can send them a direct message. Then I can send them an email in 2 days. There's a whole science to scripting, subject lines, first line, second line, so forth, what you should put, what best practices are. That's published online. I won't even bother getting into all that right now. But the point is, I've gathered all their information. I've set up a bunch of sequences, and then I just let all this run in the background every day. Every day, just drip, 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 drip. Sending information out there about what we do and waiting for people to book. So if you look at this email, you can see in here, I've got a Calendly link. And the thought here, and a lot of people go, Ben, I've got a calendar. Why do I need a calendar? And I'll show you why. Let's just say I want to differentiate between people who are booking a call to be a fractional CMO versus hire a fractional CMO versus be a CMO, blah, 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 blah. Even if you're doing charity work, you might only want to do that on Friday afternoons. So you can create different, live meetings versus Zoom call meetings versus so forth and so on. And you can bifurcate your traffic with different links.
And different durations as well.
And different durations. Also different time cushion. If it's a meeting somewhere in town, you might want 40 minutes of cushion every time somebody sets an in-person meeting versus like 10 minutes if it's just a Zoom call. So that's why I think Calendly is really a powerful tool, and you can include those links inside of your email sequences, and then it'll also automatically set up a Zoom call for you. And then all of this, of course, gets tracked. So going back to this example right here, If you look at my data, you can see I've got about 75% open rate, 22% click back, and about 11% replies, which is pretty good. You want to stay over 50%. There's a lot of best practices that you need to educate yourself about as far as what to include so you don't get stuck in a spam filter. You've got to set up your DKIM, SPF, and DMARC records correctly. If you don't know how to do that, you need to go to Upwork to hire someone, which brings me to my next topic. So let's just say you want to scrape a bunch of information and get all these leads, and you want to set up email sequences, but you don't want to break LinkedIn's terms of service. You go to Upwork. And a lot of people have heard of it, but they haven't tried it. Literally go to Upwork, and at the top, there'll be a search bar, and type in lead gen. And you'll see, as I've got coming up here on the screen, all these different people come up. And let's just say we want only top rated and top rated plus. Oh, look, for $7.650 an hour, we can hire people who do this. Some of these people have literally LinkedIn recruiter level access, which is a lot of money. Some of them have Zoom info and a lot of advanced tools. I have 1 or 2 tools. They have like 10 tools. So you could look up the top 15 private equity companies in your area and say, hey, I don't know who the top 4 contacts are. Find them for me and give me all their personal cell numbers, personal emails, everything. Bam, $30, and 24 hours later, you got it. And now you're calling those people and getting appointments. It's amazing. It really is. And it's that easy. And a lot of people just don't realize how easy that is. Then if you want to do multi-platform outreach, you could look at a software tool like Phantom Buster, which goes cross-platform between Facebook, Reddit, all the different social platforms, pulls from different groups. And a lot of people don't realize that those tools are out there. I know I covered a lot really fast, and I know it's not able to show you everything on screen here in the 2 segments, but that's why we did the video. That's why we have this special page for Mr. Biz customers. Grokketship, GROKKETSHIP.com/Mr. Biz, MRBIZ. And you can see all this repeated with demos and different screens. I'll mention one other one. Apollo is an all-in-one. You can run a search. It'll give you all the search filters that a LinkedIn Navigator account will give you, which is great if you don't have a LinkedIn Navigator account. And it'll set up your email sequences. So you can see here, I've done a search. Pharmaceutical groups. It has all the different filters. I've got all the information, and then I can set up a sequence. Here's some of the sequences. There you go. Different tool. So different tools do the same thing. They all have different pros and cons.
Super powerful, Ben. Super powerful. Guys, go back, rewind, hit pause, take your notes, do whatever, and go out to grokketship.com/Mr. Biz. We'll put the link in the show notes. Out of time here, Ben, but I really appreciate you coming on. Absolutely fantastic information. I got a whole bunch of notes myself. I'm going to have to go back and fill in some of the blanks, but great information, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your week. And don't forget, as always, cash flow is king.
To become part of Mr. Biz Nation, follow him on all social media platforms or never miss a show by going to MrBizRadio.com. If you prefer free video content, visit the Mr. Biz YouTube channel or check out his streaming channel, which is available on 100+ streaming platforms at MrBizNetwork.com.